Good evening. This side Rahul Magan here as a Group Chief Executive Officer, Treasury Consulting, and also a venture capitalist. As we speak, Treasury Consulting is a multinational headquartered group based out Singapore. We are a multinational hedge fund who invest in US, Europe, and Asia. But having said that, we are a proprietary hedge fund. By proprietary, I mean we do not take any third party capital. So you may be a venture capitalist, provided a private equity, or whosoever, but we do not take your capital. Today, I got a very, I would say, two documents on the internet, and both are very latest document, to be honest. And one document talking about the Swiss bank, and other document talking about the gentleman called Saurabh Mukherjee and his prediction of being 1 trillion in 10 years. Anyways, so the first document which I got, and I would like to highlight this document, though I'm reading this document in detail and finding similar kind of documents on the internet, which might be taking some more time. So this document is about Indians funds in the Swiss banks jump 50%, 50, jump 50% to overall 30,000 crores on the surge in security institutional holding. It means that the Indians, those who invested in the Swiss bank, the investments increased by 50%. So I mean to say that one side, Indian economy is facing huge unemployment, huge inflation. The startups are cutting jobs almost every passing day. Almost every passing day, one or another startup is cutting jobs. And then you are getting this document on the internet which states that the Indians' investments in Swiss bank increased by 50%. Absolutely great. So let me give you some few important points in this document. Number one, the funds parked by Indian individuals and firms in Swiss banks, including through Indian-based branches and other financial institutions, jumped to 14-year high. It means the investments made by Indians or Indian firms is 14-year high, and it is 3.83 billion Swiss franc, which is near about 30,500 crores. In 2021, please note that this is 2021 data and we are in the June 2022, which means this 6 months definitely we had a change. Now this change is not yet reported. In aggregate, the rise in aggregate fund, it means in 2020, the total investments were 20,700 crores. And now this is 30,500 crores, which means 50% increase in the investment by Indians. Now, this report, whatever is coming now, please note that they are official statistics reported by banks to SNB. SNB means Swiss National Bank, and do not indicate the quantum of much debated alleged black money held by Indians in Switzerland. So this number is quoted by Swiss National Bank. These figures also do not include the money that Indians, NRI or other might have in Swiss bank in the names of third country entities. So which means, suppose I'm an Indian national and I'm investing via my entity in Singapore to Swiss. So that is not covered. It covers only Indian and Indian firms in Swiss. What about this number? Oh my God, it's a mind-boggling number. According to Swiss National Bank, its data for total liability of Swiss Bank towards Indian clients take into accounts of all type of funds of Indian customers at Swiss Bank, including the deposits of individual banks and enterprise. This includes the data of branches of Swiss Bank in India and also their non-deposit liabilities. So one side, India as a country is facing huge unemployment, and we all are aware that the statistics which are coming up, in the public domain, these statistics are not accurate as far as the unemployment is concerned. India as a country is facing huge inflation. That is another problem. Startups are cutting jobs. The government is cutting the expenditure, and no politics. You know what is happening as far as the new defense recruitment scheme Agniveer is concerned. You know what is happening on the roads. It is there in the social media. This is one thing. Alternatively, other thing is the Indian and Indian firms invested hugely in the Swiss National Bank. Globally, there are many tax havens. Swiss is one of the tax havens. Singapore is also a tax haven. Caribbean island is also a tax haven. BVI, British Virgin Island, is a tax haven. There are many tax havens. Globally, there is a report which is coming on a yearly basis which speaks about near about 77 to 85 tax havens. Some claim Caribbean is the number one tax haven, some claim Mauritius, some claim BVI, some claim Switzerland, some claim Singapore, some claim Mauritius, and some even claim other countries also. Now, if the figure of Swiss is only 30,500 crores, then God knows what is the figure if I have all tax havens. Since the data is not available, so no comments, but common sense prevails. And the common sense is that the number would be mind-boggling number, that you can't even assume the number is. Now, one thing is very clear, that the money is moving from India to outside India. One thing is very clear. Being a finance person, I can say that the money is moving from India to outside India. And no one can say the return is an issue, because India is offering more return now thanks to the RBI hike of 40 bips followed by the 50 bips in this meeting as compared to the Swiss. So return is definitely cannot be an excuse in that regards. Now this creates a lot of economic issues for the country. Number one, when the money flows from your country to other country, then it creates a deficit in that country. This deficit creates less flow of money, and less flow of money in return put a big pressure on the inflation. And when it put a pressure on the inflation rise. That's a very important problem which we need to address. Alternatively, if the money is flowing outside the country, it means that the infrastructure of that country is not sufficient to handle that money. That is the reason the money is flowing outside the country, which means there is a less investments which is happening in that country. I know that, let me study, India was placed 44th place ahead of the countries like Poland, South Korea, Sweden, Bahrain, Oman, New Zealand, Norway, Mauritius, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Hungary, and Finland. And I'm telling you one thing, it do impact currency also, like USD INR. It do impact currency. It do impact everything you even can't think of. Guys, this is a serious concern that in 1 year, last year it was around 20,700 crores, and now this is 30,500 crores, which means 50% increase. This is a serious concern that should be addressed, because Swiss is a tax haven. Swiss is not a country who is offering 5% interest rate, 7% interest rate in dollar terms, or 10% interest rate in dollar terms. Okay, that's acceptable. But Swiss is not offering that, by the way. Anyways, no country is offering that. Forget Swiss. This is a serious concern that how come a huge money is flowing outside the system, and system himself is not aware about that. And anyways, by the time system would be aware about this, it would be too late as always. You know, guys, whatever is happening in the market is because of the foolishness of the central banks. Whether this is Reserve Bank of India, whether this is Bank of England, whether this is, Bank of Japan, whether this is Swiss National Bank, and not to mention the Federal Reserve. And the whole world is paying the price of this. Whole world is paying the price of this. I'm telling you. This is Rahul Magan from Treasury Consulting Group. You knew my personal number, 9899242978.